yes. Brand new, all of you, new followers. We love to see a new follower. We love to see it. Gosh, I wish I could get paid to be someone's follower. That would be so cool. What a joy. What a joy. Thanks for it.
Maybe we want to relax too.
Yeah.
Want to relax? Morning, Lauren. How are you feeling? Morning, Jen.
I think I'm gonna have pistachio this morning. No one can stop me. I'm gonna use it. Sarah wasn't here. I was on my. That's great. You never have to be sorry for that. I think going out with your friends is a great choice, Isabella. I don't think that you should ever apologize for that. Yeah, I'm gonna have this pistachio coffee. Today's gonna be a winning day. I feel it. Let's cross over. You got a Sabrina Carpenter T-shirt. Was it a good one? What color is it? What's it look like? Well, good news for both Stephanie and Isabella. We didn't even finish a whole chapter yesterday, so you didn't miss much. That's the truth. I will be able to recap it for you in a very short few moments. We did not get much. We did not get much. But I'm with you. Today's crash update. I'm catching up. Oh, catching up on chores. Okay. You want to be your head down? You look real tired.
What if we dance? What if we sleep? What if we sleep? What if we sleep? What if we sleep?
Yeah, Stephanie, what ended up happening with your interview? For your pediatrician? Oh, how was your assessment? Sounds like a lot of assessments happened.
Hey, you've been happily in the Ringsling for the last half an hour.
I had to click a button for 20 minutes. Is that real? That's a thing? My schedule accidentally got blocked for this morning, so I slept in. Oh, hey, whatever works, right? It was perfect. I love her. The office is closed 3 days a year. Wow, jeez. How did I manage that?
Hey, but you've been so happy in the Ringsling for the last couple of minutes. Why are we all of a sudden upset? Why are we all of a sudden upset?
There's no reason to be upset. You love your rinsing. You were so happy when you saw it come out of the dryer because we washed it. Yeah. It's all clean. It's all clean. Oh, for concentration. Oh, I see. I see. What are you having for lunch? I'm talking to someone else, that's right. Cozy dryer wrap, that's right. It's all clean and fresh and dry. How could we possibly be upset about that? How can we be upset about that? How? How, I ask you? There's no way. There's no way we could be upset when we have a fresh wrap. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way we could be upset by that.
What if we dance? What if we dance, dance, dance? What if we dance? What if we dance?
Rainbow pancakes? That sounds amazing. I want rainbow pancakes. I want rainbow pancakes.
We can dance, we can dance, we can dance, dance, dance.
What is my hair doing? Something awful.
Good morning, Cindy. We can dance, we can dance, we can dance, dance, dance. If we dance, will you feel better? If we dance, will you feel better? There you go. See, that's nice. Why don't you lay your head down?
Does anyone else's baby's hair grow in wild ways? Or is it just because Secret Husband and I both have cowlicks? Is that why her hair is like that? I'm not allowed to eat, so I forgot to feed the dog. Wait, what time zone are you in, Stephanie? Because you said your appointment is at 11? Are you in my time zone and I just never realized it? Am I dumb? I feel like I knew where everyone was. I went shopping Glass shopping. Wait, glass shopping? Oh, you're in Oregon. Why did I not know that? Okay, that makes more sense. Wait, glass shopping? Oh, glasses. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. I was like, are we like making a new window? What's happening right now? I did see the picture of glasses shopping. I actually did know that. I don't know why my brain didn't remember that I already saw that because I complimented your phone case because it's the checkered one. I used to have the pink checkered one from the same company. Okay, mommy needs to dry her hand. Okay. Okay. Good morning. Yeah, you guys should get together since you guys live near each other, apparently. Well, I say that with a grain of salt. I mean, like, Oregon isn't exactly, like, the tiniest state, but it's also not the biggest state either, right? You can't have this coffee, honey. Coffee is for mommies and daddies and aunties and uncles and people who don't have children as well can also have coffee, but not you. There's a lot of people out there who can have coffee. They don't necessarily have to be mommies, but I need a new MagSafe phone case. Where does everyone get theirs? You know, I don't have a MagSafe one, unfortunately. Her trying to look over your hand cracks. I know, what is her damage? Someone have a Sing If You've Read Unhinged book TikTok and Wisteria Society was on it? That's hilarious. Wait, you should link us to it, Cindy, so that we can all say that we've read that. It was Unhinged, wasn't it? You're having your coffee? Yes. Okay, so we're going to see if you can hang with mommy for this. I'm going to move this here, but you can't be on camera, okay? And that's what coffee is for grown-ups. Encanto, yes. I don't know if you guys know this, but I have an Encanto lyric tattoo. It was the only book in the video I've read. That's fair. That is fair. I don't read a lot of Unhinged books, but that one definitely was among them. Yes. Hey, Renee. Yeah, anyone who's in the same state, we should host like book club meetups and whatnots. When I think I found mine at Amazon Target, it was forever ago. Yeah, that's fair. Hey, Renee. Say hi, Renee. Say hi. Say I see you soon as long as my cold gets better. Yeah, as long as your stuffy nose and your cough goes away, you can see Renee this weekend. Yeah. I do have Encanto lyric tattooed on me. I'm going to try to show you. It's right here. Yes. It says stars don't shine, they burn. Yeah, I also love Encanto so much, obviously. Otherwise, I mean, it would be insane to get a tattoo of the lyrics if you didn't love it. Like, what an insane thing to do as a person. Like, what if you were like, I really hate the movie Encanto, but I'm going to go ahead and get a tattoo anyway. I hate myself. Yo, Stephanie. I don't really want to put my mom voice on to another mom, but Stephanie, it's time to watch Encanto. That's a good point, Cindy. That's a good point. Stephanie. It's time. Avery. It's also time for you to watch Encanto, you guys. That might be your weekend homework. Did everyone watch Meet the Robinsons when I gave you that homework? Hey, Naisa. I know. Homework. It's true. Homework. You must watch Encanto. Sorry, I don't know why that was what I decided to sing. Okay, I was absent for the homework assignment. The original homework assignment was watch Meet the Robinsons. The second one is Encanto. Those are your homework assignments. You'll thank me later. Watch Meet the Robinsons and watch Encanto. Possibly in that order. Seen Encanto, forgot for 2 seconds after you gave the homework. That it came out during the height of my pandemic anxiety, so I couldn't do family trauma. Fair, but it's been some years now. Oh, I'm an overachiever. I've seen both. Oh, good. Oh, I got a connection just in time to hear that we have homework. I missed the homework. The homework is to watch Encanto and Meet the Robinsons. Yes, you can have a watch party, but both of them might make you cry. Do I get extra credit if it's my millionth time watching? Yes. Yes. Look at these toes. You have some nice toes? Do you have some nice toes? Do you want to show? Okay, good. Let's get breakfast. Okay, bye, Renee. I will watch Meet the Robinsons, though I've never seen it. Yes, please do. I wanted to see if she wanted to show you fingies, but now she's not even looking. Do you want to rest your head? You are so tired. Her eyes are like this. Sweet, extra credit. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, let me get all that extra credit. Yes, that's right. Okay. You want to lay your head down, or are we going to be able to read? What do you think? Or are you going to go hang with Daddy? Those are your two options for today. You hang with Mommy and you read, or you go hang with Daddy. Yeah. Yeah. What if, hear me out, I get you a Chewy and you let Daddy sleep? What are your thoughts on that? What are our thoughts on that? Where, if I were a Chewy, where would I be? Let's just try this, okay? Can we try it? You look real tired. I know you are. She says I like option C. Neither, right? Yeah. My dog is listening to her talk, very interested. Yes, yes. Dogs love her. It's true. My kids watch movies never ending on repeat. I think that's normal. I think that's pretty normal. I definitely did. I was that kid. I watched the same movies on repeat. Now as an adult, I don't watch movies at all. But listen, as a kid, same. All right, let's try to finish yesterday's chapter, okay? What do you think? So, for anyone who missed yesterday, I'm going to go ahead and give you a small recap of what happened, okay? But yeah, literally, Stephanie. I pitched, just so you all know, a Mary Poppins Halloween costume to my husband, and he declined me. I said, what if we were Mary Poppins, Bert, and she was a penguin? And I carried her around. I was declined. I'm a little sad about the decline. I know. He said he does not currently feel thin enough to be Bert. And I was like, sir? Sir. Yeah, that's what Daddy said, huh? It's so cute, right? You have her as a tattoo? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I would love to see it. Big time, would love to see it. I know, not my husband being sizes to himself. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna try to, I know, literally nobody cares how fluffy Bert is. That's what I said. I was like, literally, what? Okay, so here is the recap of what happened yesterday. So yesterday we found out that Alex, while she was trying to find out what happens when you like reach your hand into the land of stories, she got startled by her brother and she fell into the book, landed in a forest. They don't know where they are. Connor comes in after her, right? And as they're going about, they run into a frog man. That's the only way he can be described. He's a man who's like part frog, part man. And they saw all of the like bad stuff going on in the forest. And he was like, listen, this forest isn't safe for kids. You guys should come back home with me. And they were like, stranger danger. And he was like, it's me or the wolves, basically. And they were like, good point. Maybe we should go with the frog over the wolves. And then they went back to his house and they were like, this is like Lucy and Mr. Tumnus. And that's where we had to end because of a lot of what's going on right this second. So we're going to see if we're allowed to read the rest of this chapter. And if not, she has to go hang out with Daddy. Yeah, okay. You want to use your inside voice, sweetheart, so we can read? Okay. Alex and Connor didn't know what to expect of the Frogman's home, but what they were seeing definitely wasn't it. They were in a large room with dirt walls and a low dirt ceiling. Roots from a tree growing above them grew down like a chandelier. A cluster of big, cushy chairs and sofas. Hey, sweetheart, sweetheart, your chair's right here. Here. Hey, hey. Okay, all right, you want to go hang with Daddy? You can go hang with Daddy. All right, I'll be right back. She's going to go hang with Daddy. Okay. She's with Dad, and we are going to read. Let's finish this chapter and read the next one. I'm going to sit in an actual chair like a human. I'm going to sit in an actual chair. All right, so we're in the frog man's house. What that means, who knows? Nice deep breath. Yes, deep breath indeed, indeed. All right, here we go. A cluster of big cushy chairs and a sofa. Many of the cushions had the stuffing sticking out of them. It sat in the center of the room, and they were all angled to face a small fireplace. Nearby, teacups, pots hung from hooks over a tiny kitchenette. To Alex's delight, there were books everywhere. Shelves of books lined the dirt walls. Piles of books were stacked on every available surface and on the ground. It was as if the room was infested with literature. Connor, Alex whispered close to him, look around this place. It's like we're having our own Lucy and Mr. Tumnus moment. And Connor looked around and saw exactly what she meant. Yeah, well, if he offers us Turkish delight, I don't care what you say. We're getting out of here, he whispered back. It's a little dirty, but it is cozy, the frogman said. It's hard to find a landlord who will house a frog, so I did the best I could with what I had. He placed his jar of lily pads on the mantel and immediately started a fire in the fireplace. He filled a tea kettle with the water from a pitcher, placed it over the fire, and took a seat in a big white chair closest to it. He crossed his legs and he folded his hands neatly in his lap. He was one proper frog. Please do have a seat, the frogman said, gesturing to the sofa in front of him. The twins reluctantly did as he asked. The sofa was rather lumpy, so they had to shift around in their seats to even get comfortable. So, what are you? Connor asked the frog. Connor, don't be rude, his sister said, elbowing him in the side. No, it's quite all right, the frogman said with a complicated smile. I understand that my appearance takes some time to get used to. Even I haven't fully adapted to it yet. You mean that you weren't always a, frog person? Alex asked as politely as she could. No, heavens, no, the frogman said. I was cursed years ago by a very aggressive witch. Why? Alex asked. She was fascinated by how casually he had said this. Well, to teach me a lesson, I suppose, the frogman told her. I used to be a very vain young man. The witch transformed my appearance so that I would lose all the things I took for granted. I can't even imagine what that must have been like, Alex said, beaming with sympathy. Can we call you Froggy? Connor asked with a smirk. Connor, Alex reprimanded. Oh no, it's quite all right, the frogman nodded, and his smile returned. I've learned that the more the people embrace their disadvantages, the less disadvantaged they become. Yes, please do call me Froggy. I'd prefer it. Connor shrugged and smiled. May I get you some lily pad tea? Froggy asked the twins. Both of the twins nodded. They didn't want to be rude. Froggy retrieved the tea kettle from the fire and hopped, literally, to the kitchenette and poured water into 3 teacups. He opened the jar on the mantel and dropped a lily pad into each teacup and stirred. Do you either of you take flies with your tea? He asked, reaching for another jar in his mantel. This one was full of dead flies. No thanks, Connor said, trying to quit. Suit yourself, Froggy said, and he dropped a few flies into his tea. He handed them each a teacup and reseated himself across from them. They stared down at it for a few moments before deciding that they'd at least pretend to drink it. So, what are your names? Froggy asked the twins. I'm Alex, and this is my brother, Connor. A large, happy smile came to Froggy's face. Are you, by any chance, Alex Bailey? Froggy asked, grinning from ear to equivalent ear. Yes. Alex was shocked. How did this amphibian know who she was? As in, this book belongs to Alex Bailey? Froggy asked. He leaned over the side of his chair and pulled up a stack of books, opening one to show where the phrase was written inside of it. Hey, those are my books, Alex said excitedly, recognizing the books that she had dropped into the land of stories. I was wondering what happened to them. It was so peculiar, Froggy explained. I was out collecting flies and was walking down the path to the swamp when one just fell from the sky and landed on my head. I returned the next day and found several more in the same spot. It was the oddest thing that has ever happened to me. You mean besides being turned into a frog, right? Connor asked. Because if I were you, that would be on the top of my... Ow! Alex elbowed her brother.
Froggy ignored Connor and went on with his explanation. As you can see from my shelves, I do love to collect books, especially when I'm not expecting to, he said. And these books were unlike any other I had ever read. They described people and places I had never seen or heard of, and I thought I had seen it all. The authors wrote about such interesting places. Can you imagine a world without witches, trolls, or giants? What imaginations they have. Froggy chuckled at the thought of this. The twins laughed along with the best fake laugh they could muster. Please keep them. Don't worry, I got duplicate copies at home, Alex told him, and Froggy was delighted to hear this. Connor cleared his throat. So, speaking of home, I don't mean to interrupt this little book club, but we're very lost and we'd like to know where we're at. Froggy's glossy eyes went back and forth between the twins, watching them closely. Oh, children, you wouldn't be here if you did indeed know where you were, Froggy said. You are in the dwarf forests. He had expected to get some sort of worried reaction from the twins, but Alex and Connor just stared at him with very little expression. The dwarf forests, Alex asked. What are the dwarf forests? You've never heard of them? Froggy asked, completely appalled. Both the twins shook their heads. It is a very dangerous place, Froggy told them. It's the only designated area of land without a ruler or a government. It's a kingdom where everyone is their own king. It used to be populated by dwarfs who worked in the mines, but now it's full of criminals and fugitives mostly. It's a place where people go when they don't want to be found. Knowing that they had not only traveled into another world, but they were in a dangerous part of a world that they knew nothing about, did not help the twins' anxiety level. Are there other kingdoms? Alex asked, and Froggy was stunned. It was as if she had asked him what the color of the sky was. However, he did seem to be enjoying their unfamiliarity. Well, of course, he said. There's the Northern Kingdom, the Sleeping Kingdom, the Charming Kingdom, the Corner Kingdom, the Fairy Kingdom, the Red Riding Hood Kingdom, the Empire Kingdom, the Dwarf Forest, and the Troll and Goblin Territory. How can you possibly not know all of this? This was difficult for the twins to wrap their heads around. How big was the fairy tale world after all? Their puzzled faces inspired Froggy to hop out of his seat and cross to one of the bookshelves and return with a large rolled-up scroll. He handed it to the twins and unrolled it. It was a large, detailed map of the new world that they were in. The fairy tale world was a wide continent bordered by mountain ranges covered in forests with castles, palaces, and villages scattered all around. The Northern Kingdom was the largest of the kingdoms, and it took up most of the map top. The second largest kingdom was the Charming Kingdom, and it spread across the south. The third largest kingdom was the Sleeping Kingdom, which went along the east, and the Dwarf Forest covered the majority of the west. And we can see that all here. You like how I came with props? That was good, right? The tiny Corner Kingdom was tucked away in the southwestern corner of the continent, and the northwestern corner was the Elf Empire. Between the Charming Kingdom and the Sleeping Kingdom was the Fairy Kingdom, and just above that was the Troll and Goblin Territory. The Fairy Kingdom looked beautiful. It was very colorful, and it seemed to even sparkle on the map. And the Troll and Goblin Territory looked frightening, and appeared to be surrounded by large boulders and rocks, preventing anything from going in or coming out. And in the very center of it all was the Red Riding Hood Kingdom, circled by an unmistakable brick wall of gigantic proportions. Alex and Connor couldn't believe it. They'd grown up hearing about this world, and it was real. It was all real, and it was bigger and better than they could have ever imagined. Alex couldn't help but get emotional. Tears began to flood her eyes. Together, all the kingdoms create the Happily Ever After Assembly, Froggy explained. The Happily Ever After Assembly? Connor asked with a slight touch of sarcasm in his voice. Yes, it's the organization formed to uphold the treaties, and all the rulers signed it so that the kingdoms could live in peace and prosperity, Froggy told them. Sounds like our United Nations, Alex whispered to Connor. All the kingdoms have their own traditions and celebrated histories, Froggy went on. They're a king, and I am assuming they're kings and queens? Connor asked. Oh, yes, Froggy said. The Northern Kingdom is ruled by Queen Snow White. The Corner Kingdom is watched over by Queen Rapunzel. The Sleeping Kingdom, formerly known as the Eastern Kingdom, was renamed after a dreadful curse which it was placed under and is governed by Queen Sleeping Beauty. And of course, the Charming Kingdom is ruled by King Charming and his wife, Queen Cinderella. Wait, are these the current monarchs? Alex asked with a spark of excitement in her eyes. You mean, wait, Cinderella, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, they're all still alive? Oh, of course they are, Froggy said. Oh my goodness, that is wonderful, Alex said excitedly. Isn't that wonderful, Connor? Whatever, Connor mumbled. How old do you think they all are? Froggy asked. Queen Snow White and King Charming have only been married a few years. Queen Cinderella and King Charming are expecting their first child soon. Queen Sleeping Beauty and King Charming are sadly still trying to restore their kingdom due to the consciousness episode after that horrible sleeping spell it was placed under. Wait, Connor said. Are you saying all these queens are married to the same guy? Oh, certainly not, Froggy said. There are 3 King Charmings. They're all brothers. Of course, Alex said. Snow White, Cinderella, and Sleeping Beauty all married Prince Charming. There's more than one. How have I never thought about that? Connor's eyes were fixated on the map. He kept searching for some kind of road or bridge that would lead them back home, but he found nothing. Why are there a bunch of rocks around the troll and goblin territory? Connor asked. Oh, as a punishment, Froggy said. Trolls and goblins are nasty creatures, and they have a habit of kidnapping people and turning them into slaves. The Fairy Council forced the trolls and goblins into one territory, and none of them were allowed to leave without permission. The Fairy Council? Alex asked. This world was almost too good to be true. Oh yes, they're a group of the most powerful fairies in the kingdoms, Froggy explained. Cinderella's fairy godmother is one of them, so is Mother Goose, and all the fairies that blessed Sleeping Beauty when she was a baby are on it too. They rule the fairy kingdom, and they are the leaders of the Happily Ever After Assembly. Is the Red Riding Hood kingdom under some sort of punishment too? Connor asked, because why is there a big wall built around it? Alex looked down at the map in the back of a Froggy, equally curious. That was a result of the CRAWL revolution, Froggy said. There was a crawl revolution? Alex asked. No. The citizens' riot against wolf liberty, Froggy explained. The Red Riding Hood Kingdom used to be a group of villages in the Northern Kingdom that were constantly under attack by wolves. They begged the evil queen, Snow White's queen stepmother, who was on the throne at the time, to help them, but the evil queen was too occupied with her vanity, so they revolted and they started their own kingdom. They built a huge wall around it so no wolves could get in. And now Red Riding Hood is the queen? Alex asked. Yes, she is the only elected queen in our history, Froggy said. The villagers figured her story was the most symbolic of their struggle, so they chose her to lead them. But isn't she just a little girl? Alex asked. Oh no, she's a young woman now. A very self-obsessed young woman, unfortunately, from what I hear. After all, she named the kingdom after herself. Her grandmother does most of the decision-making, while all she does is take the credit, Froggy said. Unfortunately, the CRAWL revolution only led to the rise of the Big Bad Wolf Pack. The Big Bad Wolf Pack? Connor asked. Yes, they're descendants of the original Big Bad Wolf. They traveled around terrorizing villages and attacking unsuspecting travelers, Froggy said. Oh, joy, Connor said sarcastically. Sorry I asked. But besides that, things are very peaceful throughout the kingdoms, Froggy said. His voice drifted off and uncertainty grew on his face. Oh, that was until a week ago anyway. The twins leaned forward. What happened a week ago? Alex asked. Oh, the evil queen escaped from the dungeons of Snow White's palace, Froggy told them. I thought everyone had heard about that. Oh, it's news to us, Connor said. That cannot be good, Alex said. How did she escape? No one knows, Froggy said. She just vanished along with her magic mirror. Snow White's army has been searching through all the kingdoms for her. They passed through these woods at least twice a day. So far, they've found nothing, not even a footprint that would lead them into her direction. Do you think that they're going to find her? Connor asked. Oh, I do hope so, Froggy said. She's a very dangerous woman. She's the only queen in history to lose her throne. I couldn't imagine the revenge she must be seeking. Who knows what she is planning to do next? And Alex all of a sudden became very tense. It had just occurred to her, along with all the other characters she had grown up loving, the ones she had hated and feared actually existed too. It made her feel very uneasy and very unsafe. The fire in the fireplace began to fade, and Froggy got up to add another log. The twins' eyes and mouths were wide open, and their heads were spinning from all this new information. Exactly how far away from here do you live? Froggy asked as he sat back down across from them, and the twins looked at each other, and then back at Froggy, and then back at each other. They didn't know what to tell him. Would they even be believed if they did tell him? You know, it's practically a different world, Connor said, and Alex shot him a dirty look and then nervously laughed, trying to make light of what her brother had just said. Froggy wasn't laughing, though. He sat straight up in his seat. His face grew very still, with an intensity in his eyes, as if he had found the solution to a mystery. Interesting, Froggy said, eyeing the twins back and forth, because if I didn't know better, just from the way you dress and the way you speak and the way you are so surprised by our basic history, I would say that there was a very good chance you are indeed from another world. They didn't understand what he was trying to say. Did he know something that they didn't know? Just out of curiosity, have you ever heard of another world? Alex asked him. Or preferably how to get back to it, Connor added. Froggy studied their faces even more intently for a moment. He got up again and walked to the bookshelf on the far side of the room. He rustled through the books looking for something of special interest, and finally he found it, a small leather-bound journal with a red band around it. Have either of you ever heard of the wishing spell? Froggy asked the twins, and Alex and Connor shook their heads. Froggy flipped through the pages of the journal. I assumed not. It's a legendary spell comprised of a list of items, and apparently when you put the items together, you're granted one wish. It doesn't matter how extravagant the wish, the wishing spell will grant it. Many people believe that it's only a myth, and I did too, until I found this journal. What does the journal have to do with anything? Connor asked. It was written by a man from the Charming Kingdom, Froggy said. He managed to discover what these items were, and he recorded them along his journey on how to find them. His one wish was to reunite with the woman he loved, and in the journal he claimed that she lived in another world. Alex and Connor sat straight up. They were sitting on the edges of their seat without even realizing it. I thought the man writing in the journal was crazy. I didn't believe another world could exist until I began finding your books, Alex. And then when I saw you bickering in the forest, I knew you two were different, Froggy said. I knew that you had to be from the place that that man had written about. The twins were happy that the truth was out. Froggy seemed genuinely excited by the whole thing. Did he make it? Alex asked. Did the man cross over into the other world? Well, he must have, Froggy said. The journal ends with when he found the last item. Froggy handed the twins the journal, and they sat down in his chair. Wherever you're from, if it's home that you wish to go back to, I think your best chance is by following along this journal. The twins went silent for a moment. They stared down at the journal in his hands with immense hope. What items does the spell require? Alex asked. Oh, all sorts from all over, Froggy told her. But the journal gives great instruction on where and how to find them. Some of them are very dangerous to get to. Yeah, of course they are, Connor said. Typical. If the spell will grant whatever wish... Sorry, no, see? First time in this book so far that I've messed up, I think. If the spell will grant whatever wish you want, why didn't you search for the items and wish to be human again? Alex asked Froggy. Froggy thought about this for a moment. It was a question he had asked himself many times, and he was ashamed of the answer. Well, I've kept the journal all these years just in case I ever decided to, Froggy explained with difficulty. But searching for the items would mean that I'd have to face the world looking like this. And frankly, children, that's not something I'm ready to do. It's not something I think I'll ever be able to do. He spoke from a place of deep sadness. Clearly he wasn't finished learning the witch's lesson yet. It's getting late, Froggy said. Why don't you sleep on it and decide what you want to do in the morning? You're welcome to stay here as long as you like. Thank you, Alex said. I hope we aren't a bother. Oh, no, no bother at all, Froggy said earnestly with a smile. He got them a large blanket to share and blew out all the lamps and put the fire out in the fireplace. Alex and Connor tossed and turned with thoughts of the wishing spell all night, but there was no decision to make. If the journal offered a possibility of a way home, they would have to do anything and everything it instructed them to do. They had no choice. They were about to embark on the greatest scavenger hunt of their lives. Dun dun dun! So before we read the next chapter, that Amanda had asked in the previous book, it didn't really work though because it was a memoir, how it works, and I'm going to show you right now. The reading ahead to know who's reading, or like what voice to use. So like it doesn't always work. Like I just messed up on that last one, but I'm going to show you really quick before we go. So if you see here, it says, of course they are, Connor said, typical. So when I'm up here at Froggy talking, I look down at the next one to see who the next quote is by. So I know that when I start this one, even before I get to the part where it says Connor says, I know that this is from Connor. And so I'll read that in his voice. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. That's kind of what I do. So when I say I'm reading ahead, I'm not like fully reading ahead. I'm just like glancing ahead to get the next idea, right? Like we can do this together. Here, we'll do this page. Can you guys kind of see it? Okay. Chapter 6, The Dwarf Forests. I packed you, sorry. Okay. It's hard to do it reading from the side. I packed you some food, a couple of blankets, and a few gold coins I've been saving, Froggy told the twins, and he handed Connor a sheepskin satchel. Thank you so much, Alex said. It's so kind of you. Now, see, I messed that one up. See, reading from the side is too hard. It's too hard to do it reading from the side because this is actually Connor, not Froggy. But I can't see. I can't actually do it reading from the side. I have to be reading top down for this to actually work. I didn't know that until just now. Now, when you say food, what are you exactly referring to? Connor asked. And so right now, when I get to Connor asked, I'm looking ahead to see the next line is Froggy. So I say, Connor asked, holding the satchel at a safe distance away from him. I have some rolls and apples. Froggy told him. Oh, good, Connor said, relieved. You know, that's the idea. But it is hard to do it from the side. Froggy handed Alex the map and the journal that they had been looking at the previous night. Are you sure you're ready for this? Froggy asked them. You're both awfully young to be going on a quest like this. Alex and Connor looked to each other, each thinking the same thing. It was hard enough to navigate around their own world at their age. Could they really travel around a different world altogether without the help of an adult? But the twins found reassurance in each other's eyes. They knew, through it all, at least they would have each other. Yeah, it really does exercise your brain. It's true. We really don't have another choice, Alex said. Thank you so much for all your help, though, Froggy. We would still be lost in the woods without you. Froggy smiled widely and nodded. Of course, he said. I should be thanking you. I rarely have an opportunity to feel useful. Are you sure you don't want to come with us? Alex asked. A map is great and all, but a tour guide would be even better. At first, Froggy's smile grew wide with excitement as he was tempted by the idea. The thought of traveling out into the world, leaving his hole-in-the-ground home, was so alluring. It was clear that he could feel the temptation throughout his body. However, his fears and insecurities about the outside world seeing him and what he had become erased that opportunity from his mind. No, I can't, children, Froggy said with a heavy heart, but I do wish you the best. The twins were disappointed, but they understood it. It was difficult for them to go to school with just the small blemish on their face. They couldn't imagine the stress of facing the world as an enormous amphibian. It's very important that you get out of the dwarf forest by sundown, Froggy instructed. Go to the path. Travel south to the Corner Kingdom. It's a few hours' walk, but you will be safer there. Travel as quickly and as quietly as you can. Promise me that. The twins promised, and Alex gave Froggy a big hug and kissed his cheek. Connor shook his hand and then wiped it on his pants. Sasha's magic. It's not magic. It's just a different skill set, you know? I think it also helps that I used to do cold reading for auditions and stuff. Like when I was in casting, I was the other person when the actors were reading, you know? So like you get used to reading things without practicing, I guess, is the long and the short of it. I mean, and I have read this book before, but it's been years since we read this one. So like I know the characters, but I don't know what they're gonna say in any given moment, pretty much. Go to the path. Travel south to the Corner Kingdom. It's a few hours walk, but you'll be safer there. Travel as quickly and as quietly as you can. Promise me. The twins promised, and Alex gave Froggy a big hug and a kiss on his cheek. Connor shook his hand and then wiped it on his pants. I do hope we see each other again, Alex told him. That would be lovely, but for your sake, I hope we don't, Froggy said, and he winked. Connor clapped his hands. All right. So, for those items, the wishing spell's not gonna find themselves, he said. Let's go. The twins pushed the door open and climbed from inside the underground home, and as they headed into the forest, Froggy waved goodbye until he was out of sight. Soon they were back on the dirt path that they had landed on the previous day, and they headed south as they had been instructed. It was a very unnerving thing for the twins to be alone on the path now that they understood the dangers of this forest. All right, bye, Jem. We'll see you later. They regretted not trying harder to persuade Froggy to come with them. They jumped at every tiny sound that the trees made. Alex and Connor remained silent for an hour or so as they walked along, afraid that their voices would attract unwanted attention from the creatures that Froggy had warned them about. We are very brave, Alex finally said to her brother, breaking the silence. Or very stupid, Connor said. The path curved through the forest, revealing new trees and bushes every few feet. After some time had passed, the twins could feel their nerves and tension calm. Their pace became slower and slower as they walked more, and they became more comfortable being in the forest. Connor let out a long sigh. Hey, what was that for? Alex asked him. I was just thinking, Connor said. Alice went to Wonderland, and after she fell into a rabbit hole, Dorothy's whole house was scooped up by a tornado that dropped her off in Oz. The Narnia kids traveled through an old wardrobe, and we end up in the fairy tale world by falling through a book. Where are you going with this, Connor? Alex said. I'm just saying, it's kind of a lame one compared to the others, Connor said with another sigh. I wonder if there's a support group for people like us. You know, like people who accidentally travel into another dimension and whatnot. Alex was appalled. Do you not get how lucky we are? She said. Think about all the things that we're going to see. Think about all the people that we are going to meet. We're going to be experiencing things that no one else in the world ever has. Connor rolled his eyes. Yeah, I'll feel lucky as soon as we get back home. Alex reached into her bag and she pulled out their map. Her eyes became fixated on it, and she only looked up every minute or so to make sure that she wasn't about to walk into a tree. Every few seconds she'd snicker or smile when she discovered something new. She looked like a tourist. Shouldn't we be reading the journal? Connor asked. We need to make a list of the wishing spell items and find out where we can find them. Oh, we will, Alex said passively. There will be plenty of time for that. Connor was getting frustrated with her. Did she not realize how serious this situation was? We need to go home, Connor said. What are we waiting for? There's just a couple of things that I'd like to see before we go home, Alex told him. What are you talking about? Connor said, his volume and his temper both rising. We're in the fairy tale world, Connor. We have to make the most of it while we're here, Alex said. Who else gets the chance to see Cinderella's palace or Jack's beanstalk or Rapunzel's tower in person? Connor's eyes and mouth were wide open. He could not believe what his sister was saying. We are stuck in another world and you want to go sightseeing? He said. Are you hearing yourself right now? Do you realize how crazy you sound? She stopped walking and turned to face her brother. There was seriousness and desperation in her eyes. Connor, the last year of our lives has been horrible. We lost everything but Mom and each other, Alex said. Every night I wished for a fairy godmother to magically appear and make everything better, and now we're in a place where that's a possibility. I don't have friends to go home to like you do. The only friends I've ever known live here, and I'm not going home until I meet them. Alex continued walking down the path. Connor was absolutely dumbstruck. Why am I being the logical one? Connor questioned. You're always overthinking everything. How are you not out of your mind with worry right now? What's there to be worried about? Alex asked with a laugh. Okay, well, for starters, what's Mom going to do when she finds out that we're missing? Connor pointed out. She'll think that we were kidnapped, and she has enough to worry about already. Alex knew he was right about that, but her desire to see the fairy tale world was so strong that she was able to ignore him. All I need is a day or two, Alex said. That'll give us plenty of time. How are you so sure that these worlds run on the same schedule? Connor panicked. Think about it. Think about the stories of Cinderella and Red Riding Hood that have been around for hundreds of years in our world, but it only seems like a decade or less has gone by since here. A couple of days? Mom is in her 80s when we get back home. Connor rubbed his head. It hurt from thinking so hard. Alex was listening more than she wanted to. He was practically repeating word for word what the logical voices in her head were saying to her. What if something happens while we're gone? Connor asked. What if we get back and, like, apes or aliens have taken over the planet? What if I miss that? I will never forgive you. Alex stopped walking and looked up from the map. A very odd expression appeared on her face. Didn't think of that, did you? Connor asked her, but Alex wasn't listening to him. Something else entirely had caught her attention. Do you smell that? Alex asked. What? Connor said. All I smell are trees and dirt. Alex took a couple of steps further. No, it's something else. It's sweet. It's like someone's baking. Connor sniffed, and sure enough, a scrumptious smell was drifting through the air. It smells like gingerbread, Alex said, and she looked at her brother with large and excited eyes. Oh no, Connor said, but before he could stop her, Alex took off running, away from the trees, away from the path, and toward the direction the aroma was coming from. Alex, you wait, Connor ordered. You come back. You don't know where you're going. Alex bolted through the trees, jumping over boulders and bushes as she passed them. The scent became stronger and stronger the farther she strayed from the path. Connor was right behind her, urging her to turn around, and finally Alex came to a halt. Connor bumped into her. She had found exactly what she was hoping to see. A small gingerbread house sat between two large trees. White frosting covered its pointed roof. Gumdrops were clamped around like shrubbery, and candy canes lined the path to the front door like a picket fence. Look, Connor, Alex said, catching her breath. It's a gingerbread house, like a real gingerbread house. Look how cute it is. Oh, Connor said, I feel like I might get diabetes from just looking at this place. Let's go inside, Alex said, stepping towards the house, and Connor grabbed her arm. Have you lost your mind? Do the words Hansel and Gretel cannibalism incident mean anything to you? I just want to peek inside inside for a second. It'll only be a second. The door of the gingerbread house slowly opened, and Alex and Connor froze as a large hooded figure squeezed out of the door and raised its head to stare at the twins. It was undoubtedly a witch, although they had never seen a real witch to make a comparison to. She was more grotesque than they ever could have imagined. Her skin was wrinkled with a pale yellowish tint. Her eyes were bloodshot and bulged out of her head. She was hunched over and had an enormous hump on her back. "Hello, children," the witch said. Her voice was high-pitched and crackly. "Would you care to join me for a bite to eat?" It was impossible for the twins to hide their fear. They both stood there staring at her as if she were a rabid Tyrannosaurus Rex ready to pounce on them at any moment. "No, thank you," Alex said. "We're just passing by. You have a lovely home." They slowly backed away, 1 foot at a time. "Wouldn't you like to see inside?" the witch asked. "The inside of who?" Connor said, and Alex elbowed him. "Don't be silly, kiddies. Come inside," the witch said, losing her patience. She extended an inviting and shaking hand toward them. They noticed that it was covered by burn marks, perhaps from the last time she had had visitors. "I thought the witch died at the end of Hansel and Gretel," Alex whispered to Connor. "Maybe she got a hold of a fire extinguisher after they left," Connor whispered back. They continued backing away from her slowly. "Thank you so much for the invitation, but we really do need to get going," Alex said. "Yep, we are on a real tight schedule," Connor added. "We're meeting a couple of dwarves for coffee in about a half an hour, so we better get moving." They quickly took off in the direction that they'd come from, but they came to a jarring stop when the witch suddenly appeared in front of them with a pop. They tried running back the other way, but the witch just appeared in front of them again with a snap. They were trapped. "You aren't going anywhere," the witch said, and she seemed to grow taller and taller, her eyes bigger as her patience ran out. "Hi, guys. You want to come hear stories?"
We're just coming to play.
"Yeah, do you want to listen to the story?"
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah? It could be fun." "Oh, there's a witch. She's mean."
Too spooky.
Too spooky. "Now, be nice little chickens and you follow me inside." "Alex, this is like one of those bad videos about strangers that we had to watch in the 1st grade, Connor whispered to her. "Do you still have your kidnapping whistle?" You don't want to eat us," Alex told the witch. "We've been walking for a while, so we're totally dehydrated. We're practically skin and bones." The witch was definitely growing. Her hump shrank as her body rose higher. "Your friend seems rather plump," the witch said, looking at Connor like a praying mantis about to strike. "He has more than enough to spare." She was practically salivating. "I beg your pardon?" Connor was so offended he forgot how terrifying she was. "I'll have you know that I'm on the edge of another growth spurt, and I always get a little pudgy right before a growth spurt." "Connor, please don't," Alex said, but it was too late. "Why don't you want your victims chubby anyway? Wouldn't you be healthier if they were muscular and fit?" Connor said, and the witch looked side to side and raised an eyebrow. She had never considered this. Her consideration must have distracted her from attacking the twins because she began to shrink back to her normal, humped shape. "If you ask me," Connor continued, "you should turn your gingerbread house into a gingerbread gym and health club." Alex couldn't believe the crazy things that her brother was saying, but this one took the cake. "Well, that's a delicious idea." "Bless you, sweetheart," the witch cackled. "I'll rebuild as soon as I'm finished with you." The witch began to grow again. This time, her mouth opened wide and a set of jagged teeth grew out of it. She was going in for the attack, and Alex screamed, "Wait!" With her hands covering her face, she said, "You owe him." The witch recoiled into her smaller form. "I owe him?" she asked. "Yeah, isn't that how it works?" Alex said. "He presented with you an idea, so you owe him a wish." "A wish?" the witch asked. "A wish?" Connor asked, and Alex nodded convincingly, and the witch grunted. "Yes, the Happily Ever After Assembly just enacted a new law," Alex said, thinking on the tip of her toes. "Any witch presented with a good idea must return the favor by granting a wish." Yup, Connor said, going along with it. "Don't make Mother Goose fly down here. She'll let her geese loose on you, and some of them lay golden eggs, and that can't feel good. So, who knows how aggressive they'll be?" "Fine," the witch said. "I'll grant you one wish, but only because I don't want to deal with those fluttering freaks again." Connor leaned closer to his sister. "What should I wish for? Should I wish to go home?" he whispered. "No, she'll try to trick us with whatever we wish for. It has to be really specific," Alex said. "Hurry, child, I'm hungry," the witch demanded. Okay," Connor said, thinking as fast as he could. It had to be a good one. It had to help them get out of the situation. I wish that you would become a vegetarian, he said to the witch. Alex turned her head sharply toward her brother. That's what you picked? Very well, the witch shrieked. The twins weren't sure if she knew what a vegetarian was. She reached her hands towards the sky, making a loud clap like thunder. The twins ducked, and but the wish appeared to have done the trick. The witch's hump faded away, and the yellowish tint disappeared from her skin, and her bloodshot eyes calmed down. I've lost my appetite, the witch said, and she shrugged her shoulders. Turning away from Alex and Connor, she walked into the gingerbread house and slammed the door behind her. Alex and Connor took a deep breath. Their bodies had never been so tense. Wow, that was a close one, Alex said. You're welcome, Connor said. How'd you think of wishing for her to become a vegetarian? Alex asked. Connor scratched his head. I don't know. It was the only sure way I could know that she wouldn't eat us. Alex smiled at him. She wasn't given too many moments to be proud of her brother, so when the chance came, she soaked it up for all it was worth. All right, nice job, but let's get out of here in case your wish wears off. The twins hurried back through the forest until they returned to the path. They continued heading south, this time keeping a faster pace. They had their first dangerous encounter in the fairy tale world, and they weren't in any hurry for the next. Alex and Connor had been hurrying along the path for a while when Connor said, Hey, Alex, I've got to sit down. I feel like my legs are going to fall off. Connor, we have to keep moving. It's already afternoon, and Froggy said we need to cross into the Corner Kingdom before nightfall, Alex warned. Yeah, easy for him to say. He's got frog legs, Connor said through heavy breathing. Just for a couple of minutes, and then we'll keep going. I promise we will. All right, but let's find someplace safe, Alex said. They continued walking a little further and found a pleasant opening between some trees. Connor found a fallen tree to sit on and catch his breath. Alex looked around at the trees of the forest, noticing that they were all different shapes and sizes and shades of green. She was bewildered at everything that had happened. It's amazing, isn't it? Alex said. All of this has been at our fingertips the whole time, and we never even knew it. She took a seat next to her brother, grinning from ear to ear. What do you think Dad and Grandma would make of all this? Alex asked him. What do you think that they would say if they knew that this was all actually real? Yeah, from the way that they always talk about fairy tales, you'd think they did think it was real, Connor said, and he couldn't help but smile at the thought. I have 1,000 reasons why I wish Dad was still alive, Alex said, but now I wish it more than ever, just so we could bring him back to show him all this stuff, and Grandma too. Yeah, but we'd have to get back first, Connor reminded her. And while we're on the subject, I think we should take a look at the journal, because the sooner we read it, the sooner we can get back home. I know, she told him, but we should at least see a castle or a palace first. Dad and Grandma would have wanted us to. Connor grunted. Alex, look, we barely just escaped being lunch for a witch. We can't waste any more time. The sounds of a few twigs snapping came from across the clearing as something approached. Alex and Connor ducked down behind the fallen trees, hidden from view. A cream-colored horse slowly traveled into the clearing. It picked up its hooves in a particular manner as if it had been trained to tiptoe. A woman was riding the horse, and she looked cautiously around the clearing as they entered it. She was young and beautiful. Her eyes were big and blue. Her hair was half up and flowed into long, flowing golden curls. She wore a long maroon knit coat with black leggings and very tall boots. Easy porridge. The woman and her horse moved covertly into the clearing. She stroked the horse. That's a good girl, bless you. Nice and slow. She hopped down from the horse and she made her way to a tree. Alex could see some sort of paper was pinned to it, and after taking a closer look, she saw that it was a wanted poster for Goldilocks that she had seen the day before. The woman shook her head after reading it, and she ripped it up and then crumpled it to the ground. Who is it? What is she doing? Connor whispered to his sister. Do I look like a psychic to you? Alex whispered back to him. Suddenly, the woman's head jerked in their direction. Whoever she was, she had a remarkable sense of hearing. She drew a large sword from inside her coat and raised it high into the air. Her gaze was stern and determined. She was obviously someone to be reckoned with. She stepped closer to where Alex and Connor were hiding. A piercing wolf howl boomed through the forest. It was so loud that Connor and Alex covered their ears. The woman spun around and pointed her sword in the opposite direction of the twins. Porridge, you get ready. We're about to have company. Who? Alex and Connor mouthed to each other. Creeping through the trees towards them were a half a dozen wolves. However, these wolves were unlike any the twins had ever seen before. They were 4 times the size of any other wolf in their world. Their fur was jet black and matted. Their eyes were red. Their snouts were wide. These wolves were ready to kill at any moment, and without a doubt, the twins had come face to face with the big, bad wolf pack. Whoa! The big, bad wolf pack! You didn't even know that was a thing, did you?
Very excited.
I know. I would be too. Well, I mean, it's a little scary, but whatever. Alex and Connor held on to each other, shaking with fear. The woman in the maroon coat never showed a hint of panic. She pointed her sword at the largest of the wolves standing in the middle of the pack. The wolves growled and gritted their teeth at her. Hello, Malumclaw, the woman said. Hello, Goldilocks, Malumclaw growled. The twins were both silent in hysterics. Goldilocks! That's Goldilocks! Alex mouthed to Connor. The wolf talks. It talks, he mouthed back to her. I'm surprised you're not in chains down in some Red Riding Hood Kingdom jail cell yet, Malumclaw said to Goldilocks. And I'm surprised you haven't been turned into a rug for a child's nursery yet, Goldilocks said. Whatever brings you to this part of the forest? Isn't there an innocent village for your pack to torment somewhere? Goldilocks lowered her sword. The other wolves in Malumclaw's pack slowly surrounded her and Porridge. My pack's hungry. We stopped for an afternoon snack, the wolf said. Have you really come to eat me? Goldilocks said. I thought you'd have learned your lesson by now. I bite back. She gripped her sword even tighter, and Malumclaw laughed. The wolf can laugh. It can laugh, Connor mouthed to Alex. You're far too small a portion, Malumclaw told her with an evil wolfish grin. Your horse, however, well, that's plenty to go around. Alex and Connor had never seen a horse look as frightened as Porridge did in that moment. Had she not been so lightly colored, they would have sworn she'd gone pale. If you so much as scratch her, I will wear you as a coat. Do you understand me? Goldilocks warned him. All people do in this world is... Sorry, wrong voice. All people do in this world is eat one another, Connor whispered to Alex, and as soon as he did, he knew that he shouldn't have. The wolf turned in the twins' direction. Malumclaw? I think that I just heard something, a wolf growled. Alex covered her mouth so as not to scream. The wolf began sniffing vigorously in the air. I smelled 2 children. 1 boy, 1 girl. Goldilocks seemed as surprised as the rest of the wolves to learn this, so that's who she heard behind her moments before. The twins could hear their own heartbeats. What was going to happen next? Was Goldilocks going to rat them out to save her horse? Had they just narrowly escaped being devoured by a witch only to be eaten by a pack of overgrown wolves? Well, yeah, I'm afraid you missed them, Goldilocks said. I frightened them away, just like I'm gonna frighten you the next time we cross paths. All right, then the horse it is, Malumclaw declared. All the wolves howled together. It was deafening. They began circling Goldilocks and Porridge, getting closer and closer, and the wolves snapped at them with their enormous jaws, and Goldilocks swung her sword at them. One wolf tried to pounce on Porridge, but the horse kicked him away with her hind legs. Another wolf tried to bite Goldilocks, but she struck him with her sword, drawing blood, and he whimpered away. Goldilocks was the best swordswoman the twins had ever seen. Any time one of the wolves got so much as a claw close to her or her horse, she was quick to shield them. Porridge wasn't so bad herself. She wasn't shy about kicking away any of the wolves that were too close for comfort. A wolf leaped and sank its claws into Porridge's back. The horse bucked free herself. In one quick slice, Goldilocks chopped one of the wolves' paws off, and he limped off into the forest, howling in pain. The 2 wolves teamed up on Goldilocks. One leapt toward her, and the other she tripped over. Her sword flew into the air and landed close to where the twins were hiding. Goldilocks was on the ground, unarmed. The wolves were closing in on her, and the horse was going in on her and the horse. They were going in for the kill. Catch! Connor yelled and tossed the sword straight at her. Goldilocks swung it hard at the wolves that were closing in on her, leaving a large gash in their muzzles. Retreat! Malumclaw ordered. No snack is worth all this trouble. The wolves scampered back into the forest, growling and howling in anger, letting the rest of the forest know that they were on their way. Until we meet again, Goldilocks, Malumclaw called. He disappeared into the trees with the rest of the wolves. Goldilocks got to her feet and put her sword away. She was out of breath now that the enemy had left. She was much more vulnerable than she had shown in combat. She petted Porridge's nose and dabbed the horse's wounds with the fabric of her coat. Hey, good girl, Porridge, Goldilocks said, and she turned her face towards the fallen tree, and Alex and Connor were hiding behind it. You guys can come out now, Goldilocks said. The twins were hesitant at first, and then Connor popped up and exclaimed, "Hey, that was awesome!" "Connor," Alex said, popping up beside him. "That was one heck of a fight," Connor continued. "You know, really, at first, I thought they had you. I never expected a girl and her horse to be a match for 600 wolves, but you impressed me. Where did you learn to fight like that?" Goldilocks was not amused by his enthusiasm. "Well, when you've been on the run as long as I have, you pick up a few tricks here and there." She turned around and remounted her horse with a jump. "So it really is you?" Alex asked. "Are you really Goldilocks, the woman wanted dead or alive for all her crimes?" "Don't believe everything you read," she said sternly. And then she pulled on Porridge's reins, and they galloped away. But she only traveled a few feet before she steered Porridge back to the twins. "Hey, thank you for your assistance," she said, and Connor nodded. "Here, take this just in case you need it." Goldilocks reached into the side of her boot and pulled out a silver dagger. She tossed it onto the ground. "Now get as far away from here as possible. Those wolves are going to be back sooner than you expect." And with that said, Goldilocks and Porridge galloped off into the forest. Alex and Connor stood motionless, watching her ride off and out of sight. "That was amazing," Connor said. He retrieved the dagger from the ground and put it inside their satchel. As terrifying as that was, it was kind of nice to see another human for a change. "Yeah, but we'd better get out of here," Alex said. "And this time we aren't stopping until we know that we're out of the dwarf forests." Connor couldn't agree more. The twins continued down the dirt path, running this time. They had experienced more danger today than they had experienced in their entire lives. Unfortunately for them, it wouldn't be their last encounter with Goldilocks, the big bad wolf pack, or the dwarf forests. Dun dun dun! Page 125, for those who are keeping track. Whew. We made it in under the wire. All right. I'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day.